Brandon, you got your major varsity debut in Ireland against Notre Dame and showed some things. How good did it feel to finally be able to get out there and play some ball?
Felt pretty good. I mean, coming out in the spring, being able to play for the first time and then getting hurt and then being able to come back, it honestly felt good just to be out on the field with my boys and everything. So it was a good experience.
So talk about your plebe years, scout team, playing in JV games. Did you feel like you learned, developed? I mean, it wasn't a lost year for you, was it?
Yes, sir. Definitely, it was I don't believe it was a lost year. Like I spent a lot of time on the scout, and I was with the starting defense, so I got to play my own game every day in practice. So I feel like it gave me experience, it gave me confidence, and I learned a lot from the defensive players as well, about them, about myself. And so I feel like it built up to that. So when I finally got the opportunity in the spring to showcase that, I did what I had to do.
So talk about the spring, because you did make some noise and you moved up the depth chart. I know the coaches spoke highly of you. What did you feel you did in the spring to kind of announce yourself?
I feel like I came in originally in fall camp with not as much confidence as I had in the spring, and then when I did come in the spring, I only got to do 5 practices, but in that time before the spring practices, I worked on my blocking and everything, catching, and I just feel like just came out with the right attitude and was able to execute and just separate myself from everybody else.
So talk about what type of offense you had at Calvary Christian, and what were you a tailback in an I formation, or what exactly was your role, and what type of offense did you run in high school?
I was a slot at Calvary Christian, so originally like a slot receiver. It was more of it was a passing offense, but we ran a lot of short plays, bubbles, and jets and things like that. So I had a good amount of receiving yards based off of bubbles.
So did you feel comfortable coming in here and playing the slot in this system? I mean, I'm sure you studied it, and when they explained to you this is be your spot, you know, did you feel like this fits you?
It was definitely an adjustment. I went to the prep school, so I had time to adjust to it there, but I felt comfortable.
So, you know, obviously you broke your ankle in the spring, right?
Yes, sir.
How did you recover so quickly to the point that by the time fall camp rolled around, you were ready to go?
Just a mindset. I broke my ankle, and the day I broke my ankle, I said I'm going to be back. And I had it in my mind that I was going to be back, so I worked hard every day. Even before I got surgery, I was putting in work. And then once I got back, took my rehab seriously, did everything I had to do and extra on my own so I could make it back.
So how good did it feel to come back and perform well enough during the preseason to be able to get on the depth chart, you know, ended up actually, you know, being listed as a starter?
Felt good, but it wasn't a surprise to me. I had it in my mind. I knew I was going to do it, so I did it.
What do you feel like you bring to the table, Brandon?
I just feel like just being from Florida and just going through the experience I had in my life, I just feel like I'm a dog, and I feel like I have just like a X factor that I just bring to the table because I'm a hard worker. I mean, I'm a team player, try to bring everybody up that's around me, and I just try to execute along with everyone else.
Let's talk about the one running play. You gained, I don't know what it was, 5 or 6 yards, but it was the most incredible 5 or 6 yards, and you know, multiple efforts, multiple broken tackles. You just would not go down. Can you talk about that run, and do you think that epitomizes who you are?
I do believe that it epitomizes who I am. I mean, I honestly, myself, I wasn't surprised. Like I worked hard to be able to do that, and I mean, originally getting hit, I thought I was going to go down, and I didn't. So I just kept running. I had in my mind that I wanted to score. So next time I plan on getting in the box.
So here Coach Chesnut and Coach Newberry both this week said we've got to find the ways to get the ball into Brandon's hands a lot more. Does that make you feel good? Does that fire you up? I mean, you're only a sophomore. Does it get you, worried?
I mean, no worry over here. I'm just ready to work. They put the ball in my hands. I'm execute. They don't. I'm gonna block my ass off.
So a guy like Amin Hassan, when I asked him about when I asked Amin about you, he said he's a Florida boy. Of course, he's tough. I mean, do you think there's something about that Florida? I mean, they have Anton, Hall, you, Amin.
Yeah, it definitely is. We eat, breathe, sleep football since babies, 6 years old. It's, like I said, we got that X factor. Just work, and football sometimes is all you got. So.
I'm pretty sure Calvary Christian is where Diego Fago went, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that have anything to do with you coming to the Naval Academy?
Actually, it did. Yeah, Diego Fago and Daniel Jones. They were players that came from my school, and then my coach ended up becoming in contact with Coach O'Rourke, and they just started talking to me. So I feel like it was kind of like a legacy type thing.
So obviously you're not a finished product. You feel like you still got a long way to go and that we have yet to see the best out of Brandon Chatman?
Yeah, always more work to do.
Just doing a little story on Brandon Chatman. He showed out at the opener. We've asked Coach Newberry, Coach Chestnut. They both said this is what we've been seeing in practice. Can you kind of elaborate?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, since Chat was on the scout team last year, I mean, I obviously wasn't coaching, but since he was on a scout team last year, he's been dynamic with the ball in his hands. And especially now that he's on the on the varsity field since spring ball. I mean, he's just dynamic with the ball in his hand. He makes plays and he can play without the ball in his hand. As far as blocking guys or just running his motions full speed or special teams. He's a fun football player. He loves the game and he plays hard.
Obviously, he doesn't look like much. He looks thin, short. But what do you feel it is he brings to the table? What do you feel that it makes him such a good football player?
He's very nimble. He's elusive, and he's very confident. He plays fast, with the ball in his hand, and he doesn't own the fact that he's small. Not that he doesn't believe it, but he believes that he is. He can hold his own. Even though he may weigh 170 pounds, if that. But I just think that's what makes him special.
So that one run in which he just kept second, third, fourth effort, breaking tackles. I mean, that is heart and toughness at its core. What can you say about that run? I'm sure you replayed that a few times in the film room for the slots, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that was definitely impressive. But that's what we preach, man. Don't let one man bring you down. Fight, keep your feet going. If you're a Navy slot back, you got to be a great football player, and that entails being fast, being strong, being able to catch, being able to run, being able to break tackles, being able to make people miss. And so he showed that he could do that. And it was not much of a surprise to a lot of us here. So, but it still was an impressive run.
And what about the long catch down the sideline?
Again, that's just Chat being Chat, just making plays. And A's make plays, but that's Chat being Chat, just being dynamic. Being flexible and being able to help us in different ways.
So obviously we saw what he can do with the ball in his hands as a playmaker. What about his blocking? Did he grade out all right blocking?
Yes, he did. He wasn't asked to block much, just from what we were doing, as far as formation wise, but he graded out fairly decent.
So is he a kind of a guy that's playing beyond his years? I mean, he's a sophomore with no varsity experience until Saturday, but he seems to play much like more of a veteran.
Because Chat's a South Florida guy, so he plays free. Like I said, he's very confident. So to him, it's just football. It's not big time, Division I, 100,000 people. It's just football to him. He's just an old school playground player. He just loves the game and he plays it like he loves it.
So do you feel like it's a high ceiling for this kid? I mean, I'm sure that we have not seen the best we're going to see of Brandon Chatman.
I hope not. I hope we haven't seen the best yet. But yes, I think he could be a special player for us, down the road.